everybody's favorite podcast that no one's ever heard of, EdgeM8. I'm your host.
My favorite.
I'm your host, Chad Cook, partner at Bridgepoint Technologies, and EdgeM8 is a podcast for business leaders, entrepreneurs, and salespeople. Our guest today fits the bill and then some. He is a renowned, or he's around, plastic surgeon based out of San Francisco. His focus is on faces, not other areas. Get your minds out of the cellar, you guys. I call him Dino. You call him Dr. Dino, but tell us a little bit about yourself, Dino. I've known him for years. He's actually a friend of mine, but anyways, we're gonna stay professional here. So yeah, tell us a little about yourself, where you're from, and then about your practice.
I often go by Dr. Dino because my last name is complicated. It's Elyassnia. I grew up in the Bay Area and went to USC for med school and did all my plastic surgery training at UCSF, and then did some extra sort of aesthetic surgery training in New York, and then landed back in San Francisco and been in practice for now 13, 14 years.
And are you by yourself, or like how does it
all work?
No,
I was super lucky. I joined a very well-known facial plastic surgeon that focuses on facial aging, and it's really been a great mentor to me. So I joined his practice, and been basically in the same office since then. We basically kind of share the space, but like I said, he's been a great mentor.
Awesome. So my nose, what would you do with my nose? I broke it when I was really little, and I was on a trike bike, and it ran into a bed apparently, and I was bleeding everywhere, and I had a scar up here, but in reality I think I was crying because I broke my nose, and this was like when I was 5.
Did they take you to the doctor?
They did.
Did they do x-rays?
No, they just thought I was crying because I had a scar on my forehead.
Did it affect your breathing?
I'm good. I got it. It's never affected my breathing. I'm just.
I mean, we can't make it look better.
Okay.
It's already perfect.
Well, then I digress. All right, we're gonna get into this segment. We're gonna clearly get out of that last conversation. We're gonna go into a segment that we call SWOT. The S stands it's SWOT analysis, and the S stands for strength. So EdgeM8, what's your strength? What's your edge? What differentiates you from your competitors?
Well, I kind of refer to the training. Plastic surgery is it's difficult. You can't just kind of make it up on your own. You really need high-level training to get really good at it. So I was lucky enough to have very, very good training. But I think the other thing, the key, half of what we do is obviously very technical and it's this artistic, technical thing. But the other half is there is a sort of a form of sales, right? We have to get people to trust us enough to let us cut their face. I mean, it's kind of insane.
I know, right?
What we do, and that's not so easy.
Is it Oreo cookies? Like, how do you get that trust?
Well, I mean, I think ultimately it's, like the best sales is not selling, right? So just like radical honesty, really treating people as if you're not selling them something, but you're educating them and you're wanting the best for them. So I think in that sense, I think I'm actually quite good at that.
So not like Nip Tuck.
No. Yeah.
Amazing show, by the way, for you non-millennials out there. For the millennials out there, yeah. And then, so what would be weakness though? Like, what's something you can work on?
Something to work on.
No pun intended.
I mean, you can always get better at what we do. I think, we get it's so routine for us that sometimes we forget what a big deal it is to patients. So just never letting up in terms of making people feel comfortable and not ever forgetting that this is like a scary thing for people, you know, and acknowledging that sort of at every step for them.
Yeah.
Because for us it's very routine, so you
you can lose your way after a while because you're like, oh, I do this all the time. But the new person, like, yeah, that's your face, and so to keep that newness.
Yes, yeah, I think just recognizing what a big deal it is for patients and not losing that, you know, I think can be hard sometimes.
Gotcha. What about opportunities in your industry? Anything exciting that you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, you know, people tend to focus a lot on like the tech that comes out in aesthetic surgery. You know, the newest laser, the newest.
Don't tell me ChatGPT is doing.
It's doing all the work for me now. It's taking over my console. But you know, for me, the tech stuff is there's very few that are actually worthwhile. So for me, it's more focusing on getting better at the craft, and there has actually been something fairly revolutionary in rhinoplasty. We do something now called preservation rhinoplasty, and it's sort of just a less invasive way to operate on the nose. It's actually fairly transformative, and it's very new, and I was basically lucky enough to stumble upon this early on and kind of
progressive
preservation.
Preservation.
Yeah, the basic idea is, in a nutshell, we would, you know, what most people do is they really take the nose apart to change its shape and put it back together, and that's a lot of extra steps and a lot of extra healing, and so now we try to sort of minimize that and do it sort of with less steps, less kind of taking apart.
It's like an Oxen's razor. So it's
Exactly. I actually use that a lot in sort of the teaching of it.
So I have a chance to be a plastic surgeon.
You do?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, that's been kind of a really cool change for me.
And then potential threats. You know, it could be the economy, whatever. Like, what kind of threats do you guys typically face?
It's a common.
COVID was actually, you were telling me it was actually really good for you guys.
Yeah, there was this plastic surgery boom, you know. People were, you know, not traveling, they were at home, they were working from home, you know, they were covering up with masks, so it was like a perfect opportunity to get something done that maybe they had been putting off. So that, so I think now we're seeing a little bit of decline, you know, that little wave has passed, and the economy is kind of, you know, shaky. So I think things have settled a little bit. Yeah, but you know, we're sort of, you know, we're elective, and people don't have to have plastic surgery, right? So the economy really goes in a recession. That's probably the biggest threat we face.
Got it. Yeah. Hopefully.
I guess that's universal, probably.
Yeah. All right.
But the threat is definitely not chat GPT or AI. That's not gonna do what I do anytime soon.
Maybe in 2223, but not in 2023. We are now on to our next segment, which I call the icebreaker. Because we're adults, theoretically.
Mostly.
And then the other one's for kids, because we got to get into our inner child every now and then.
I like it.
So here's the first question.
Adult first or kids?
Adults first.
Okay.
Who had the most influence on you growing up? That's a good question.
That's a good one.
I was too far away. Who had the most influence on you growing up?
I mean, the easy answer is obviously, you know, parents, and that probably is the most. But I guess related to what we're talking about, I have an uncle that's a vascular surgeon, and when I was even, you know, in high school, I was learning from him, and I shadowed him very early on, and he was just, he's an amazing human being beyond just being a really fantastic surgeon. So he really kind of was the model of what a surgeon was, and that was kind of, you know, when you're a kid and you look around and there's, you know, that's sort of the person in your radar, and they're very well respected, and you know, want to sort of emulate those people. So
That's cool.
got to be him.
Let's see if this question is inspirational as this last one.
It's like your favorite cereal or something.
Yeah, right. O's and grape nuts. Would you rather watch a movie at home or in the theater? Why?
This, with the new chairs in the theaters, it's getting more competitive, but home's got the edge.
I watched Black Panther 2 at Stonestown, which is the newest theater in San Francisco, and I thought I was getting this like 3D experience, but all of a sudden like there's mist coming at me,
wow.
and then all of a sudden the chair was shaking, and I thought my buddy was like messing around. I'm like, but then all of a sudden the mist came again, and I'm like, it was like a total interactive, like the chairs are moving to the movie, and I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I haven't been in one of those yet. I've been at like Universal Studios where you know that.
Yeah, I expect it at an amusement park, but not.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Popcorn was flying everywhere.
I'd rather stay home.
There you go. All right, and now finally the main event. Well, not the main event, but we dive deep into the arcane here at EdgeM8, and I pulled a tarot card. It's all random. I asked Dino for a number, and a tarot card deck has 78 cards. He said the number 44. I selected the 44th card. But do you have a question, or do you want clarity on something? Because this card will pretty much dictate the next few, your attitude for the next couple months or so.
Oh, so it's a short term.
Yes, until we do it again.
Okay. So the question has to be.
Well, unless you give it a time frame.
Oh, okay. So how about? Am I gonna retire early, or am I gonna work very late into my life?
Okay. I already know the answer to this question based on the card, but I gotta give I get some details. The card that was selected was the 7 of Cups, and you will see that prompt up there at some point. The 7 represents going deeper, going for more meaning. You're not satisfied with the status quo.
Okay.
So retiring does not.
No,
you want more. The Cups means interactions, emotions, and interactions with other people, relationships. When you're retired, usually playing video games or watching Netflix. So far, what I'm thinking is that you're gonna go till as long as you want. And then if you put those two cards together, basically it's just a strong urge to accomplish something, which is literally the opposite of retirement. So the answer is you're not retiring anytime soon.
I like that.
Well, there you have it. Let's give a good round of applause for my friend and very experienced Dr. Dino, plastic surgeon in San Francisco. All the details are going to be somewhere located on the screen here. And then again, my name is Chad, partnered at Bridgepoint, and we are a tech advisory firm. And my specialty is taking people to the edge, helping companies get closer to their customers, to their data, and to their clients, their consumers, and their employees. Thank you for everybody's time, and until next time, have a good one.